Coiled fire, a spoken teaching on Kundalini. Kundalini is the coiled potential of conscious functioning within the biological vehicle. Not a mystical energy you acquire, the latent capacity of your nervous system to operate at self-recognition rather than self-preservation. In the Kinarami view, the body is the cremation ground. Kundalini is the fire that burns the fixation that the body is mine. The mind is me. The world is other. This is Mahasakti, the capacity to be what one is, unobstructed by the one who asks to become. Viviksar, verse 1. Viveka is the discrimination between eternal and non-eternal. The eternal is the functioning itself. The non-eternal is the fixation that any of this belongs to someone. Awakening is not attainment. It is the relaxation of the claim. The claim was never more than a thought. The thought was never more than a movement of the same energy that now rests unobstructed. The three channels, Ida, left of spine, Luna, cooling, receptive, memory, emotion, past. Apana Vayu flows here. When dominant, left nostril open, heart slows, mind turns inward. The Agor observes. Does not interfere unless practice requires. Observation is the practice. Pingala, right of spine, solar, heating, active, projection, future. Pranavayu flows here. When dominant right nostril open, heart quickens, mind turns outward. Different fuel for different work. The mastery is moving between them without becoming either. Susumna, central axis, not activated by technique. The natural state when Ida and Pingala balance and the mind does not interfere. Breath becomes imperceptible. The inner sound becomes audible. The serpent is not waiting at the base. The serpent is the axis itself. The coiling was only the appearance of rest. The seven centers. Muladhara perineal region. Coccygeal plexus. Four-petaled red lotus. Earth. Survival, excretion, stability. The I am the body fixation. Apana Vayu concentrated here. The Kanda, where all channels originate, sits slightly above. Viviksar 12, the body is born, the body dies. The one who knows this is not the body, he is the knower, not the victim. The fixation is not wrong. It is the biological imperative. It becomes obstruction only when survival is mistaken for totality. Kundalini here is not dormant. She is functioning perfectly. The awakening is not the serpent leaving. It is the recognition that Muladhara is not the boundary of what one is. Practice. Stable seated posture. Mula Bandha. Perineal lift on inhale. Hold on retention. Release on exhale. Kapalabhati. 30 to 60 strokes. 3 rounds. Meditation on the four-petaled red lotus. Yellow square. Coiled serpent at rest. Trap. Obsession with sexual control or release. Suppression or indulgence. Both are fixation. The Agor neither suppresses nor indulges. Energy is redirected inward as intensification. Fuel can burn in the genitals or in the spine. The choice is mechanical, not moral. Affirmation. I am not the body that fears death. I am not the body that seeks pleasure. The root is red, the earth is yellow. The serpent sleeps in complete potential. I do not wake her. I do not let her sleep. I am the root that needs no ground. Svadhisthana, genital region. Sacral plexus. 6-petaled vermilion lotus. Water, procreation. Emotion, fluidity. Prana and Apanya meet here. Their intersection creates turbulence. The source of emotion, Viviksar 18. The mind that runs after pleasure and away from pain is bound by both. The mind that sees pleasure and pain as the same movement is free of both. The swamp of the subtle body, not impure. The place where water accumulates, stagnates, breeds life and decay simultaneously. Feeling becomes trap only when the feeler is fixed as real. Practice. Hip opening postures held 5 to 10 minutes. Mula Bandha combined with Uddiyana Bandha. Vacuum drawing energy from Svadhisthana into Manipura. Nadi Suddhi with extended retention. 1 to 4 to 2 ratio. Meditation on the vermilion lotus. White crescent moon. Crocodile surfacing. Trap. Emotional flooding or freezing. Catharsis addiction or dissociation. The Agor feels fully without becoming the feeler. Feeling is water passing through. Affirmation. I am not the pleasure that binds. I am not the pain that liberates. I am the water that flows without direction. The feeling that feels without feeler. I am the crocodile and the moon. the wave and the ocean without boundary. Manipura navel region. Solar plexus. 10-petaled yellow lotus. Fire. Digestion. Power, will. Samana vayu. The balancing prana that metabolizes food, experience, karma. The alchemical furnace. The factory of new karma. Viviksar 25. The one who thinks I act is bound by action. The one who sees action happening without an actor is free, even while acting. The battlefield. Where the practitioner meets the practitioner. The will that practices. The ego that wants liberation. The most dangerous center because it disguises ego as effort, practice, twisting or core strengthening postures. Uddiyana Bandha. Complete abdominal vacuum, chin to chest. Vastrika 20 to 30 strokes, 3 rounds. Meditation on the yellow lotus. Red triangle, blazing sun. Trap. Spiritual ego. I am advanced. I have experiences. My practice is superior. The Agor uses power without owning it. The fire burns without claiming the heat. Affirmation. I am not the will that achieves. I am not the power that dominates. I am the combustion that needs no combustor, the digestion that needs no digester, the action that needs no actor. The I do was never more than a habit of language. Anahata cardiac plexus, 12-petaled green lotus, air. Circulation, love, integration. Vyana vayu, the diffusive prana that creates the felt sense of boundary. The pivot point, below, biological and personal. Above, transpersonal and subtle. Viviksar 31. The heart that loves an object is bound by the object. The heart that loves without object loves itself. And that self is not separate from all selves. The unstruck sound, not produced by friction, but the practitioner often hears it as longing, the unanswered call. This is the trap. It is so beautiful that the practitioner wants to stay here. Practice, chest-opening postures, Mahabandha, all 3 locks held during internal retention. Anuloma, Viloma with Kevala Kumbhaka, meditation on the green lotus, smoke hexagram, restless deer, trap, spiritual heart. I am loving, I am compassionate, I feel everything. The Agor loves without lover, feels without feeler. The heart is not mine to open. The heart is the openness itself. Affirmation. I am not the love that seeks. I am not the wound that bleeds. I am the opening that needs no opener, the sound that needs no striker, the love that does not love anyone, because there is no one other than the loving itself. Visuddha throat region, 16-petaled blue lotus, space, communication, purification. Udana vayu, the ascending prana that carries life force upward at death, the filter where experience becomes expression. Every translation is a loss. Viviksar 37. The word that names the real divides it. The silence that knows the real unites it. A wise one speaks little, and when he speaks, his speech is the echo of silence. The purification is the recognition that all speech is approximation. The space in which the word arises is not less than the word. The silence before speech is not more true than the speech. Practice. Inversions, shoulder stand, plow pose, Jalandhara Bandha, throat lock, Ujjayi, ocean sun, breath. Meditation on the blue lotus, white circle, sound of space itself, trap, spiritual voice. I speak truth. I channel wisdom. My words are sacred. The Agor speaks without speaker, teaches without teacher. The throat is not mine to purify. The throat is the purification itself. Affirmation. I am not the word that expresses. I am not the silence that withholds. I am the sound that needs no sounder, the word that needs no speaker, the space that needs no spaciousness. The word that divides was never more than a ripple in the silence that unites. Ajna, third eye, 2-petaled silver-white lotus, mind as cognition itself, command, intuition, direct perception, the meeting point of all 3 channels, the Guru Kakra, not guidance as voice, guidance as silent recognition, Viviksar 39. Samuji is not jnana, not ajnana, not vijnana. It is the direct seeing that needs no seer, the being that needs no bayer, a Ekatvam that is not philosophy but living reality. Most dangerous center because it feels like the end. The witness is stable, the eye that was seeking now sees itself, but the witness is still a function. The I see is still a subtle subject-object split. So refined it is almost invisible. Practice, seated posture, eyes gently rolled upward. Sambhavi Mudra, eyes fixed between brows, mind fixed on inner space, breath suspended in heart. Kumbhaka at Ajna, tongue to soft palate, attention at third eye, meditation on the silver lotus, last duality before non-duality, lingam of light. Trap, witness ego. I am the observer. I see the illusion. I am enlightened. The Agor sees without seer, witnesses without witnesser. The third eye is not mine to open. The third eye is the opening itself. Affirmation. I am not the vision that sees. I am not the witness that knows. I am the seeing that needs no seer. The knowing that needs no knower. Samuji is not my attainment. Samuji is the absence of the one who would attain. Ekatvam is not a philosophy I hold. Ekatvam is the holding itself. Sahasrara crown, thousand-petaled lotus, all colors and no color. The primordial element or no element or all elements. Union, the end of the individual one, not a center like the others. The field in which all centers appear and disappear, not above, the space that contains them. Viviksar 45, the final verse. The one who knows the self knows nothing. The one who knows nothing knows the self. This is the end of knowing as relationship between knower and known. The triangle collapses into a point, and the point is not a point. It is the space in which all points appear, not the goal. The recognition that there was never a journey. 1,000 petals are not achievements. They are the infinite modalities of the single reality. The opening is not an event. It is the end of the one who waits for events. Practice. Any posture, or no posture. Savasana, corpse pose. The living death. Mahamudra without effort. Kevala Kumbhaka, spontaneous suspension. The breath stops because there is no one to breathe. Meditation on the thousand-petaled lotus. Colors becoming white, white becoming transparent. Transparency becoming fullness beyond form. At the center, no symbol, no deity, no seed. The void that is not empty. Trap, final ego. I am enlightened. I have reached Sahasrara. I am beyond all centers. This is the most subtle trap, using the language of non-duality to create the ultimate duality. The Agor does not claim Sahasrara. The Agor is the claim dissolving. Affirmation. I am not the 1,000 petals. I am not the single point. The crown is not above. The crown is not. I am the opening that needs no opener. The union that needs no two to unite. I am the self that is not a self. The nothing that is not nothing. The everything that is not everything. The rest is the recognition that activity was never separate from rest. The cremation ground is not a place. The cremation ground is the burning. I am the fire. I am the ash. I am the seed. I am the not I. The not I is the end of negation and affirmation. The ekatvam that was never two and therefore needs no one. The process, purification. Physical through asana and satkama. Energetic through nadisuddhi and pranasuddhi. Mental through yama and niyama as structural alignments, not moral rules. Activation. Pranayama, Kapalabhati, Astrika, Kumbhaka, Bandha, Mula, Uddiyana, Jalandhara. Mudra, circuit-completing gestures that intensify the current. Ascent. From survival to emotion, from emotion to power, from power to heart, from heart to speech, from speech to witness, from witness to the field beyond all positions. Each stage is not escape from the previous. It is the recognition that each centered is a complete universe. Integration. The serpent descends again, awakened. The body-mind continues, driven by different intelligence. Eating, sleeping, working, relating, but not as a person. The cremation ground is everywhere. Nowhere is impure. Daily sadhana, morning, Brahma Muhurta, 3:30 to 5:30, Sauj cleansing. Asana, 30 minutes, spine erect. Pranayama, Anuloma, Viloma for balance. Kapalabhati for heat. Vastrika for fire. Kumbhaka with bandhas for pressure. Meditation, 30 minutes, not focusing, allowing. Evening, sunset, gentle asana. Extended nadisuddhi. Trataka, gazing at flame or darkness. Meditation on the day's events as unfolding of Sakti. Weekly. Mauna, 1 day of silence. Fasting, 1 day of light food. Cremation, ground visitation if possible. Agor additions. Kapala meditation, the skull bowl as emptiness. Drinking as receiving grace. Rakta visualization, the red liquid is transformed Bindu. The same energy that creates bodies creates consciousness. Bhairav identification, not I am God as ego inflation, but I am the terrible one who destroys illusion. What changes? Physical. Shallow breathing becomes deep and automatic. Digestive issues become strong metabolism. Scattered sexuality becomes integrated vitality. Weak immunity becomes robust health. Anxious sleep becomes conscious rest. Mental chatter becomes silence. Reactivity becomes transparency. Need for distraction becomes contentment with stillness. Linear thinking becomes holistic cognition. Memory-based knowledge becomes direct perception. Spiritual. Seeking becomes non-seeking. Separation becomes direct knowing. Fear of death becomes recognition of transition. Moral dualism becomes transmoral awareness. Relationship with God becomes identity as living reality. The ultimate change. There is no benefit for the person. The person is what dissolves. The only outcome is the end of the seeking that drove the practice. You do not become enlightened. You stop pretending you were ever unenlightened. Direct seeing, all practices are preparatory. They create conditions. But awakening is not caused by technique. It is grace, the ripeness of the soul meeting appropriate conditions. At any moment, recognize the sensation of I am. Not I am this body, not I am this mind. The raw sense of existing. This is prior to all experience. It does not need Kundalini to rise. It does not need chakras to open. It is already complete. Awakening is simply the vehicle coming into alignment with this already existing truth. The body is already burning. Every metabolic process is combustion. Every breath is death and rebirth. Kundalini is the fire that consumes the corpse of the ego. Ego is the holding, the clench, the boundary drawing that pretends to be separate. The fire does not hate the wood. It consumes because that is its nature. You are not raising energy to become spiritual. You are removing obstructions so the fire that already is can burn freely. The skull bowl is empty. The red liquid is life. Only the commentary that calls any of it Maya or Brahman is optional. Warnings: premature awakening without purification. Energy rises into blocked channels. Psychosis, physical illness, spiritual inflation, ego inflation. The energy creates siddhis. The ego claims them. This is worse than no awakening. Spiritual bypass. Using Kundalini to avoid psychological wounds. The energy will force you to face them. Guru dependency. Waiting for someone to give you awakening. No one can give you what you already are. If energy awakens unprepared, ground. Walk barefoot, eat heavy food. Avoid meditation and pranayama. Channel into physical work, creative expression, service. Seek guidance from one who is integrated, not one who merely talks. Do not resist. What you resist persists. Test of authentic awakening. Are you more compassionate or more arrogant? Real awakening humbles. Can you function in ordinary life? Integration means marketplace and mountain are the same. Has seeking ended? If you still seek more, it is not complete. Is there anyone to be proud? If you achieved something, the ego is still intact. Closing Baba Kinaram did not teach Kundalini as system to be mastered. He lived as the fire itself, wandering skull bowl in hand, beyond convention, beyond fear. For the Kinarami Agor, the serpent is already risen. The only question is whether you are looking. The cremation ground is this body. Every sensation is ash. Every thought is smoke. The ash is complete. The smoke is the fire's breath. The guru is not outside. The true guru is the inner recognition, a moment when you see that there is no one seeing. Kundalini is not a journey upward. It is the dissolution of the one who journeys, not into Brahman beyond Maya, but into what was always here. Unnamed, unframed, complete. Sit. Breathe. Let the fire burn. What remains was never absent. And what was never absent never needed to be distinguished from what was never present.